following a gruesome traffic accident. A special ceremony in Bimini in memory of the late Martin Luther King Jr. And government officials toured the new port in North Abaco.
The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition starts now.
The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, a gruesome scene this morning in the Call Road area. Parents and their children on the way to school watched in horror as a traffic accident unfolded right before their eyes. The mishap claiming the life of a young man. Italia Hall has the details.
The incident took place near the traffic circle located on Settlers Way and Call Road during the busy morning hours when parents were dropping their children to school and others were headed to work. When our ZNS News team arrived on the scene, one side of the traffic circle was blocked off, causing a traffic jam. Onlookers crowded a nearby shopping plaza, curious to see and find out what was happening. Now, as you can see behind me, the body is on the road covered with a blue tarp. Assistant Superintendent Alfonso Pinder says police got the phone call shortly before 8.
The victim was apparently, from what we understand, was crossing from the southern to the northern side of Settlers Way when he was struck by a tour bus. We do not have his identity at this time, but investigations are continuing.
That tour bus that struck the victim is a 2001 blue and white van owned by H. Forbes Charter Company. According to police, the bus struck the victim while he was attempting to cross the street. While Pinder says it's important for drivers to drive with due care and attention, it is also important for pedestrians to be vigilant as well.
We urge the pedestrians, please, to use those crossings, and where no crossing is available, please to make sure that the way is clear before crossing the street. This is our second traffic fatality that we've had for the year, and it's already, early part of the year.
Shortly after, entries to that traffic circle was blocked as police continued their investigations.
Officer, stop all movement. Don't let nobody pass you.
The victim is believed to be 36-year-old William Christopher Gibson Jr. of Freeport. Reporting for ZNS Network News, I'm Italia Hall.
A second H. Forbes charter bus involved in an accident today. Reports say a double-decker bus came in contact with hanging wires in the Samoa Drive area of Seven Hills, bringing down a utility pole. No one was injured in the incident. Now, you may recall that last week, Sunday, a driver crashed into Club Amnesia after suffering a stroke at the wheel. That same night, H. Forbes Charter lost 6 buses in a fire at headquarters on Queens Highway. And now to news from Abaco. A new port in North Abaco projected to turn around the economy of that district. The member of parliament for that constituency joining a delegation from the Ministry of Works on a tour of the new facility. Altavis Munnings was there.
The multi-million-dollar port in Cooperstown, Abaco is expected to boost the economy of North Abaco. Member of Parliament for the area, the Honorable Darren Henfield, is optimistic that the port will open as soon as possible.
We're here now at the North Abaco Port development, which I think have 2 extant issues that we need to resolve. I'm told by the developers here that those issues will be addressed within the next month, possibly before then, and then the government will have to determine what we will do with this port, how we're going to manage it into the future.
Henfield accompanied the Minister of Works, the Honorable Desmond Bannister, and his delegation of senior ministry officials on a tour of the port facility Friday morning. Developers of the project, China Harbor Engineering Company, had their representative on the tour as well, informing the government delegation on the port's progress to date. North Abaco Administrator Therese Boodle feels the port is essential to this part of Abaco.
We're hoping to see North Abaco really expand in economic activities and move forward. As it is now, most of the economic drive is towards the central part of Abaco, and so we're hoping to change that, in particular with this port on the horizon. And so we see this as a great economic boost. Should this port open and this facility open, we know that opportunities will be made available, and so we can see the ripple economic effect in North Abaco on the horizon. And so we're looking forward to this great economic stimulus right here in North Abaco.
Altavis Munnings, ZNS Network News.
Now to the island of Bimini, where Nobel Peace Prize laureate, the late Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was remembered today with a portrait unveiling ceremony. Ricardo Lightborn traveled to Bimini and has this report.
Government officials, residents, and visitors gathered in the departure lounge at the Bimini International Airport for a very special portrait unveiling. Leonard Stewart of the Bahamas Ministry of Tourism Office and Plantation served as the master ceremonies. The national anthem was sung in unison. Father Colin Saunders, rector of the Our Ladies and St. Stephen's Anglican, delivered the prayer and blessing on the occasion. Nadia Sherman Roll of the Ministry of Tourism had a Bimini welcome. The Louise McDonald High School students moved those in attendance with a selection that brought happy feet and hands. The Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, expressed her delight in sharing and the remembrance of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. The Nobel Prize laureate also message was peace, love, and spent some time in Bimini. That cements a special connection which still now emanates in Bimini.
What started out as quiet visits to our shores by Dr. King not only introduced Biminites to a giant of a man who would capture the Nobel Peace Prize and the hearts of many, but connect two nations, ultimately leading to why we are here today.
Ansel Saunders spent countless hours with Dr. King and spoke of the fond memories. The world-renowned classic boat builder said Dr. King was simply special.
Dr. King, with tears in his eyes, he looked up and he said, "I believe now more than ever in the existence of God. Over my head I see freedom in the air. There must be a God somewhere." He said, "Ansel, you made me feel so close to heaven. I feel as though I could almost reach out and touch the face of God."
Former United States Ambassador to the United Nations and former Congressman and Mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, Andrew Young pointed to Dr. King's love for Bimini.
I had the privilege of being here with him some 50-some years ago, never having any idea of where all this would lead. But the world is a different place because he lived, he spoke the truth, he lived the truth, he died speaking the truth, but that truth prevails.
Dr. King, I've been to the mountaintop speech was written in Bimini, and on 1,000 hours of easel work by Steve Skippers, it cements it all. Ricardo Lightborn, ZNS Network News.
In other news, immigration officers foiling an alleged smuggling attempt here in Freeport. Reports say officers went to an apartment on Pioneers Way where they found two Brazilians who entered the country legally but had overstayed their time. They were taken into custody and they reportedly admitted to coming to the Bahamas by way of the Dominican Republic and Providenciales with the intention of making it to the United States by boat. They were taken to immigration headquarters to be processed and will be sent to the detention center in the capital and then sent back home. Stay with us. The Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition continues in just a moment.